of my friends say, girl, you better take care.
Good evening, Steph community. How y'all like my Hawaiian shirt? Anyway, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We love you guys. Always comment, and please, if you like the content of the channel, please be sure and tell others about it. There's a lot of things going on, people. Like we say, things are drastically changing. And these are all comments shot back to y'all. And you wonder if we handle things differently and stood up for law and order and gave punishment where punishment was due, do you think that would be a reckoning to people not to have these cash bailouts, not to be spanked on the hand and let go? You go to jail for shooting someone, committing a bad crime, a heinous crime, and like the policeman says, they see you driving by them at 10 o'clock that night. They took you in at 7 this morning. Do you think it would make a difference? Because right now, the world is ruthless with crime. Let's take a look at this right quick, y'all. And these are things that we're dealing with on an everyday basis. When things are taken from you and a person laughs at the situation, this is what we're dealing with. And this is what people are doing to America right now. Other countries are watching. Our forefathers are watching. And nobody has any respect for God, country, or not even themselves. And it's sad. Very sad situation. I like to see a difference, but maybe we won't never get it. I don't know.
Thought he'd get the lightest sentence because he was still a minor, but the judge's final ruling wiped the smile off his face. This teen, named Atkins, was only 12 in 2023. Together with 2 friends, he shot and killed their other 3 friends, Layla Silvernail, Camille, and Michael Hodo. All the victims were minors. Atkins is now 15 and has been charged with murder, armed robbery, and tampering with evidence. The judge said that in his 35-year career, he'd never seen a 12-year-old charged with murder. At first, the judge considered giving this teen a chance to turn his life around and imposing the minimum sentence, 20 years in prison. But at the final hearing, the victims' families wept in agony.
May God forgive me that the boys who did this are haunted every day by what they've done.
Atkins laughed at the grieving families of the victims. The judge didn't see a shred of remorse in him and ultimately overturned his own decision.
I was willing to give you a chance to change, but all I saw was you swilling at the victim's family with no remorse. I sentenced you to life in prison.
The teen hurried to explain to the judge that he thought he could change the judge's mind.
Y'all think I'm bad. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. I promise you give me another chance. I promise you gonna see what I'm talking about. I promise you. I bet you're gonna see me on that TV doing good.
But it was too late. In the end, the 15-year-old was sentenced to life in prison. Do you agree with the judge's decision? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Law and order. And a lot of people said that this is very harsh to handle a 15-year-old and give him life. It's harsh. You're evil. You're mean. But he knew he had that cash bail system. He's been through the system before, and he'd be out. So he laughed about it in the family's face by voting and doing things that we are doing. We are creating this theory, this movement that's going on now. Until it happens to you and yours, then you wake up. But as they say, it's too late. A lot of this is backed 100% behind this person right here. A lot of you are saying she should have won. She would be an excellent president. And mind you, Kamala never was voted in to go for presidency or anything like that. Napoleon Polanski decided that she would put her in place. And they said even Obama asked her, what in the H have you done? They all knew she wasn't qualified. But Pelosi said, well, it's her move, she's going to do it. See, people, what happens here is Pelosi made millions and millions of dollars for our buck. Over 300 million. Now she's going to retire. There's enough money for her family, the next family, and the next family. And just to listen to some of their thoughts. Listen.
And sometimes when you're down and out, all you can do is make a wish upon a star.
There's so many stars, and let's not be afraid of them. You talk about Mamdani. I mean, he's exciting this group of people who otherwise don't think of themselves as being aligned or part or even seen by the system. You just look at the range of what we have. So many. Jasmine Crockett, who I just talked to recently. I mean, we have so many stars.
Are Crockett and Mamdani stars, or just crazy comments on a collision course with their party?
Socialism is not the future of my party. We all know how socialism works out. Ask anybody that's lived under those kinds of systems all across the globe.
If Crockett and the commie aren't the future, who is? Carville says, not Kamala.
I'll just say this, Red Buck, I do not feel sorry for you. You will. Because I don't feel sorry for you. There's no pity here, and I can't stop you from running again, but I can promise you, you're not going to get the nomination.
Clooney agrees. He's still nursing a nasty Harris hangover.
But I think the mistake with it being Kamala is that she had to run against her own record, and it's very hard to do if the point of running is to say I'm not that person. It's hard to do. And so she was given a very tough task. I think it was a mistake, quite honestly, but we are where we are.
Clooney says Harris was a mistake and Biden was a mistake. You know who's not happy about that? Hunter. He says the next time he sees George, he's going to push him off the stage.
I could spend a lot of time debunking many of the things he said, because many of the things he said were just outright lies. But the reality is, I don't think looking backwards like that is helpful to anyone, particularly to him. I don't think it's helpful for the Democratic Party.
Clooney's dead wrong. The Democrats have to face up to the past if they want to move forward into the future. Trump, he started a civil war in the GOP, and the party was reborn. But the Clinton faction doesn't want a healthy debate. They'd rather burn books and put the binder in the blender.
Lady, please, do your book tour and then shut the up. I wonder if you do any self-awareness. I mean, did somebody say that she have a publisher, or her wife, or what? Or I don't know, whatever. Did somebody say, man, what you saying makes utterly no sense at all?
They just want Binder and Biden to go adios like a bad hombre. But the ghosts of 2024 will haunt Democrats for 4 more years.
What do you say to Americans who feel misled by you and other top Democrats
He decided to
about the mental acuity of President Biden, that they wish you'd sounded the alarm sooner to give way for
I never experienced it.
convention?
I'm not going to substitute myself for someone else. or for popular opinion. I'm going to express my relationship to my truth with the former President of the United States.
My relationship to my truth? Has Gavin been snacking on Kamala's word salads? What's next? He's going to say worked at McDonald's? Get it together, Gav. This is a big year for you.
You've said, as we've discussed, you are considering a run for president, and you've said you'll make a decision about whether to run for president after the midterms.
Yeah, I mean...
Governor, let me ask you, why do you want to be president?
I don't. I'm not suggesting I am. Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there rolling our eyes going, give me a break.
Greasy's getting tongue-tied on NBC but wants to go on Rogan? Everybody knows Newsom and Harris are on a big fat collision course. The it girl versus the girl on the bus. They can both use the same bathroom. And when Democrats debate, you know it's going to be a cat fight. So who's going to babysit this crew? Barack's in the doghouse, Biden's at the beach, Schumer's getting primaried, and Pelosi looks like she's going to retire. Bye, Nance. It's about to get ugly. And maybe, that's a good thing. Pennsylvania's Democrat Senator John Fetterman is here. Senator, socialism might be taking over the Democratic Party. If it does, will you become a Republican?
Socialism might be taking over in New York City, tomorrow, but that's certainly not the future of my party. And remind people that New York City's politics are not a national model. And watch the kinds of campaigns that would encourage him to campaign with him. It's like Pennsylvania keeps people honest. We're very purple, and I know and I love a lot of people that voted for the president. And now that's like, it keeps you honest to remember that, there's two sides and you have to find a way forward. And that's really the future, and that's why I'm proud to be a part of it.
So you're agreeing with the Republicans on the shutdown, you're agreeing on Israel, you're agreeing on the woke BS. Are you close to becoming a Republican?
No, I'd be a terrible Republican, but I'll just be a very honest Democrat that's not necessarily afraid to push back against some of these views that I just don't agree with. Like, if you can't be a very unapologetically support for Israel, then that's a problem for my party. If you think it's the right thing to shut our government down for any reason, then that should be a problem too. And I believe we need to secure our border, and things were out of control under the Biden administration about the border. And now I think that's right. And that's the views that I have. And so, with this shutdown, it would be wrong if the Republicans do that. It's wrong now. We need to reopen this. And now for me as a Democrat, 42 million Americans, the food insecure. I mean, that's at the very kind of core of the kinds of people that we really need to protect. And now every union that's attached to this shutdown, they're all calling this has to end. If we're fighting for working families, why don't we agree with them and just do this?
Well, why won't Schumer do it? I mean, you voted to open the government.
Well, I mean, I really kind of led the charge back in March about, keeping our government open. And I thought I might be the only Democrat. And there was enough people back in March. And I said, I'm going to be right there in September when this comes back. And if I'm the only Democrat, I'll still be there because it's wrong to shut our government down.
Does Schumer hate you for this?
No, of course he doesn't. He doesn't hate me. We might disagree with it right now. And I'm here tonight to have a conversation because I'm going to have a conversation with the other side. And that's where I'm at. And I'm going to show up and talk to anyone that invites me to be here because we really need each other. And I want to have... And one other thing I refuse to do as a Democrat, I'm not going to call you a fascist or a Nazi. I'm not going to compare anyone to Hitler or anything. That's wrong. And if you resort to that thing, you've lost the plot. It's like, because if you call him a fascist, then you have to think, well, maybe the people that vote for him, and I know people that love for him, is a fascist. That's just not true. And I know people that voted for the other side, and they're not trying to destroy our Constitution.
Well, the guy up there in Maine, he's got a Nazi tattoo.
Yeah, Yeah, no, that's going to be up to the Democrats in Maine. You know? For me, like I'm proud to represent Pennsylvania, and I think that's the state in this country that truly reflects our nation, and how that keeps you accountable and that keeps you honest, and that's why why anybody would want to be in a bubble online or living in a bubble.
All right, last question: Sheetz or Wawa?
Oh, well, I mean, we talked about this. We know that Sheetz, you know, they were the...
Boo! Get him out of here.
I mean,
Get him off the set. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Senator, you were great until now, but I'm a Wawa guy, and you gotta go.
I mean, I like the hair. I like the hair, but
Thank you.
The view on Sheetz or Wawa, you're wrong.
All right, thank you very much, Senator. Good luck.
Okay. Fetterman is a very truthful speaking man. He shouldn't shut the government down. People need that. People depend on that. And to use the government to work against people and get your way, not good. It's not a good thing to do. The art of deceptiveness and mistrust can be on a very large, wide scale. But it's for us as human beings to capture that, bring it in and under control. We all imperfect creatures, and we all are steered to do wrong. Me, you, everybody. But the art of the deal is to look at yourself and terminate what is going on. It's something we need to look at right quick, and I'm just going to briefly show it to you. It says the Democrats will terminate the filibuster. This is Donald Trump talking. The first hour, if and when they assume control or power. And he was saying Republicans have the Democrats want. We should do it now and have the greatest 3 years in history. I mean, this is him talking about the filibuster with holding the government at bay, holding it down while people hurt. Now, we should find no pleasure, people, if you care about the people you stand up for in doing that. No pleasure at all. And a lot of people go on a false promise with this because they're looking for something, some type of way to guide them. Henceforth, you create chaos, you create uncertainty, and you create a drive that has no patience. And then mistakes are made. It's just like a bullet leaving the chamber of a gun. If you point it and do this all day long, nothing happens. But once you click and it leaves, there's wind verities, there's sight verities, there's recall verities. You don't know where that bullet's going. Even if you're a perfect shot, you will miss at times. Same thing with law and order. If we don't push for the right thing in the beginning, well, we lose sight of the end. Let's look at this right quick. Now, this is our new socialist, Madani. And you can look at some of the things that I guess he's looking for. Let's take a look at it right quick, and we'll see.
I think it's time for Muslims to start to say, all right, so what? Do what you want. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, because it's about time to do that. And I know everybody has their own families and has an education and everything. Just a question. We don't want to get doxxed, and we don't want to get suspended, and we don't want to get arrested. How gangsta are you? That's just my question. How much are you willing to do it? And I know everyone has their own risk levels, but at the end of the day, that's a question to ask ourselves. How committed am I to this? To what extent of my personal material gains am I willing to sacrifice for this bigger noble cause?
So know this, that Islam will enter every house. Every house. Don't worry about the Islamophobes. They can yap all they want. Their children will be Muslim. So Islam will enter every house. What's the question? Are me and you going to be a part of it? Are we going to take that become that sabab, that means, so that Allah puts all of that in your hisab? So you can be a part of this great victory that's coming, and wallahi it's coming. It's coming in every house, in every country. Today here in Australia, subhanAllah, I'm sitting here in a masjid that we have people all the way out past the second place. Look at this. Who could have imagined these many Muslims in Australia? And it's not going to stop. You can stop immigration, you can stop whatever, you can do Muslim bans. Wallahi, it's not stopping. Because the Prophet ﷺ said it will enter every house.
By the way, hit pause on this punk. Well, you know what? I'm loyal to the West. I don't want to be put under your foot. I will not submit to you, and you've declared war on me, and I accept the challenge you set. But he thinks he can dominate us and crush us and take our daughters, that he'll finally be somebody. Well, you're not.
People, Mandani's saying the same thing. They're going to take property, take houses. People leave the stores, they're taking over. And did you get that? She said, how gangster are you to stand up and face the equality that's coming? Believe in the equality that's coming. So y'all are showing that y'all are down with this. Like 4 flat tires. Like I said, someone tell you they give you something free and you own like Donkey Kong. And that's so sad. But that's what we choose. That's our new belief. That's what we strive for. And when you make that decision, people, you have to live with that decision. It doesn't change. And coming to my house, your daughters, your kids will become Islam. I'm gangster. Because I'm not going to become nothing that I don't want to be. And I don't know if y'all heard or not about the flood of Islams that are coming to New York. And Americans are pulling out. I guarantee you the homelessness will increase. The landlords will become slumlords. Because along with the price of living in New York, they can't function by not raising the price to maintain every building. Every building is 30, 40 foot high. One more time, let's check it out. I'm trying not too much to talk. Let it talk for you.
Just cover down
just let you know exactly what led me to this conclusion, by the way. Some far-left, trans-loving, lunatic influencer shot a conservative icon 2 months ago, okay? Teachers, government employees, tons of other liberals, many of which didn't have a job before, a lot of which don't have a job now, celebrated his death publicly, then went out and held mass protests in nearly every city where some, not all, but a lot advocated for more violence against conservatives, while simultaneously lecturing me about Trump's rhetoric. Pound sand. Oh, but then Democrats also overwhelmingly just elected a dude for Attorney General. Let me say that again. Attorney General as the highest law enforcement officer in the state of Virginia, who is widely known before the election for wanting to shoot his political opponent and watch his kids die in their mother's arms. Sweet. I never want to be lectured ever again about any modicum of any type of decorum from another Democrat as long as I live. There is no moral fiber on the left at all. And that includes anyone who voted for them, by the way. Yep, generalization right there. Take it. And the big ticket item this morning that Republicans, or at least some, they're sitting there scratching their head, I wonder how this happened. Yeah, how did a Virginia elect a liberal white woman over a black female Marine that has upheld every constitutional value? How did the former governor of New York lose to a 34-year-old socialist Muslim from Uganda that has never held a real job and didn't even show up to the previously elected one he had either? How did Jack Ciattarelli lose to a woman that supported a system that drove up the price of electricity to one of the highest in the nations, raised taxes, and after, what did she have, $7 million of suspicious stock trades, and still got elected by the party that's screaming, eat the rich? Well, hey, if you don't know, maybe you should step aside from the leadership of the Republican Party forever. There's the door. Because I'll tell you how it happened, because Democrats for the last 30 years have been indoctrinating our schools, teaching kids that socialism is good and all Republican values are terrible, to such an extent that when people like me went and pounded on the podium at Board of Ed meetings, we were put on domestic terror watch lists. I have been warning about this for 15 years, that this is the new battleground, and I've been told by my own people in the Republican, oh, Carl, tone it down. No, shut up. This is how we got here. Just cover down.
Yeah. It speaks for itself. This is how we got here, people. And Democrats' values, they don't have none. They're terrible. It's a sad day. Not because of who run the primaries or anything like that. Democrats are fine. I don't have a problem with them. It's what they're indoctrinating and teaching and what they stand for. And such a beautiful country. I hope they get what they're looking for. On that note, y'all, please sign up to the channel. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers. Look ahead, think ahead. Remember, admonish what you say. Be careful where you say it, because I don't want any harm to come to anyone. Smash that like button. Tell others about the channel. And please always comment back. I like to hear from you and what you think and your views. Again, this is Big Daddy, and I'm signing out, and we will talk again.